What's up, guys? Welcome back to Energy Hill Family Talks. I'm your host, Christian Hardy. I'm here with Lisa, who has been on a family talk. I wasn't on it with you, but you've been on one, about bad design. Yeah. And she's back here to talk about logos, and Gloria's back to talk about logos as well. Two professional graphic designers.
Yeah, we have BFAs, so I think we are allowed to talk about it, right?
Exactly. I'm just gonna sit back and let you guys do the work. My opinion isn't as informed. I'm just the general consumer view.
Got it.
Okay, the first one we're gonna go through, and we cut these logos down. There's, a lot of these brands have a lot more logos. Coke is one of those. We cut down from, like 15 logos to like 3. These are the 3 that were most notable. Mostly the first one, which Lisa already was saying something about earlier. Looking at that first logo, what do you think of the first one?
Well, I thought it was about a circus kind of looking feel. I guess because that's kind of like a dropping, kind of curve around, kind of remind me like a Cirque du Soleil kind of looking.
And the swirl
but
too.
I guess if we put ourselves in the 1800s, that probably it's fitting for the times. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that each brand took the time to revisit their logo and change with the times, which is cool. But
what were they doing with the little things on the C's? I don't understand what that is. Decorative, I get it, but I don't know what it makes it confusing to me.
Yeah,
because honestly, the swirling C is pretty cool. I mean, it's different, but it's cool.
I think it's more of we probably then need to do some research on the 1800s and the typography and what the press was like and what they did at those times. That I'm sure that's probably was.
They also look like
what they used.
Kind of fuzzy, like the edges, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
because
not
there was no digital anything.
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons.
Yeah, so everything was made by hand and stuff, which it's like my favorite. So it's like the smell of paper and ink and so cool.
15 years later, very modern logo. Maybe it's just because it's still around to feel super modern, but what do you guys think about the change? I mean, it's pretty similar to what they have today, but going off of that, what do you guys think?
I love it. I think it's so classic Americana. It's just when you think of like the United States and America and like those big brands and stuff like that, you think baseball and burgers and CocaCola and it's just, and the color red is just so like an iconic thing for that brand. It's cool. I also think that is a good choice. I know I'm totally jumping to the red, but I think it's a good choice because also colors are, they pick it for a specific reason, they evoke some emotions and stuff like that. So red, it's other than, passion and stuff like that, it's also for food, it's one of the best colors. So like it makes you hungry, not makes you hungry, but it kind of like invites stuff like that. So
I got you.
Yeah. But
Lisa, thoughts on this one?
I think it's kind of like still like trying to carry like what they had in the previously, like the 1890s, like kind of like curve, but then the curve is going to continue with like a flow, like a nicer, like a ribbon kind of looking, but also kind of like looking like representing the wave of like those like water sort.
Yeah, for sure. I love how the C goes through the L. I've always really liked that. Mm-hmm. And then they got the little, like you said with the American thing, like this like the tail of the C at the first one is very, reminds me of like baseball font and like that sort of thing, like totally. Okay, moving on to the next brand. That's CocaCola. We missed a few. They had one logo where they were just Coke, which I thought was interesting. Here's Nike. Started as Blue Ribbon Sports in 1964, and then here are their main logos. You'll find other stuff, but this is pretty much their primary logos. And I put this one on here because I am in love with the 1971 logo. The outline, I like the font. I think the font could be a little bit cleaner. It looks a little bit like childish to me for some reason. Like I don't know how to
the 1971.
Yeah, like it seemed like it'd be a little bit more crisp. But I love that logo. What do you guys think about the Nike logos?
I don't think it's bad. I think it's more of, it's hard to tell this swoosh. Did I say it
swoosh?
Right? Swoosh. Swoosh. It's hard to tell behind the Nike. If it would have been a little bit thicker, probably it's easier to see. But I was doing a little bit of research, and back when they first started, that first logo was done by a designer that the owner of Nike paid for $35
Oh
for
my
the
goodness.
design.
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that
really
crazy?
popular.
For Blue Ribbon Sports or for the
I
outline?
believe it's the outline
Oh, wow.
Nike one. So I just love the fact that as they went through the years, they kept the same icon and then just like
Yeah.
filled it up and then just kept it minimal. And I just love it. It gives the emotion of
Like
movement.
Movement, yeah.
and
And fast.
exactly
Think of
acceleration, speed. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's pretty awesome.
The font change was a good change. Lisa,
Yeah.
what's your favorite? What's your favorite of these ones? The very simple.
I think the 1995 through now,
Yeah.
like because I guess afterwards, like people knows without having the letter of the Nike,
Right.
and then they can recognize, oh yeah, that's the Nike.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, that's kind of like a really typical thing about like a big company, like
Yeah.
the first
Target,
thing- yeah, Target,
Apple,
Apple,
even Starbucks.
it's like a Walmart.
Starbucks
Yeah.
is a big
Yeah.
one. We got
So-
Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart changed though.
They
we were talking about
are-
Walmart in this video, but
yeah.
that we could. I see the old Walmart logo all the time. I'm like, man, I miss that old logo.
I know.
Just saying. Okay, so now we go to Nike's a competitor, Adidas. They still, or Adidas is actually how you say it. But anyways,
Really?
Yeah, 'cause it's
Okay,
German.
I didn't mind.
But
Adidas.
so there's actually older logos, but I went with the first one that had really the clean Adidas, and I yeah. So eventually I ended up flipping that to so they whited out the letters, but then they flipped it to make the letters black. So it's kind of the same logo, but they flipped them. So what are your thoughts on the Adidas progression through the years?
I feel like that's the logo that really hasn't changed as much
Yeah.
as the other ones. I guess compared to the majority, and also Coca-Cola, I guess, is also kind of like stayed the same after
Yeah.
a couple of years. I like it a lot. I think the letters, how like the A and the D are like the like complete circle inside.
Yeah.
It's all lowercase.
Like a geometric kind of shape.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
it just changed the, I think 1971 from there, they changed their like font style more like a geometric.
And then how like the top of the D aligns with the I and it's a square. It's just all so perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's beautiful. It's very simple. And yeah, my favorite definitely 2005 to now. I really like the three lines. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
so
actually,
clean.
I found out that there's a meaning for the three lines.
Oh.
It was like a split region that they kind of like selling their merchandise. It was like North America, Europe, and Asia. That was kind of representation.
That's
There was like
awesome.
a three
Oh, I know
lines.
that. Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Cool. I feel like, well, I feel like the first one represents like, if you go like, it still looks. She knew. It still looks sporty to me, and then I think of the second logo as like being like very vintage Adidas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they still use that logo on kind of like Stan Smiths. You'll see it and
Yeah.
stuff like that, like
Yeah.
stuff that's been around for a long time.
And also, actually, the middle one, the 1971, it's called like a Firebird.
Oh,
if you
really?
search it, like it's actually called Adidas Firebird. Like
Got you.
icons. I think that's like totally they use for different merchandise.
Right,
type
for
of
certain.
style.
Yeah, they have like a brand for that now almost. Like,
I think
like
it's
different.
very also interesting that you see on that second D that white space between the D and the
Yeah.
I
actual
can
like
still see
lead.
from here too.
Either an M or
Right.
a crown. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
That white space that creates that shape. I don't know. It's kind of fun
Yeah.
too.
And then
Right.
but then I think now it's like they basically like almost like rebranded with the three stripes like
Yeah.
that. Like it's on everything now. And I mean I'm sure they always had the three stripes, but to me, it became more like modern and very much more sporty. Whereas the middle logo makes me think of not just sports, but like casual wear and
Right.
stuff like that. And now I think the logo now seems very sporty. Okay, moving on to Apple's our next one, and this one honestly isn't. I mean, I'll let you guys give your takes because after 1977 to 2001. 2001 and now basically stayed close to the same. I mean, relatively, but what are your guys' thoughts on? And obviously, we have the first one, which is the most notable. And no, once people see the Apple logos, are like, "What is that?" They
Yeah.
had that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's actually I believe that was Isaac
yeah,
Newton.
Isaac Newton, yeah.
That I was just sitting there, and then the apple almost like hanging about to fall and stuff, which it's very illustrated heavy.
It's too much.
It's not gonna look well on definitely the devices that we're using Apple for right now, and hard to also translate to like business cards and stuff because small print it will be honestly it is hard to read Apple
I cannot
Yeah.
see
I mean, we're
computer company. So I am glad they moved on from that.
But the 77 logo, that's iconic for
Yes,
sure.
it is.
Isn't it like around that year like they come up with the color like there's more
All
like
the computers had all
more,
different
like,
colors.
popular, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah. But they're, and they're,
I forgot.
no, yeah. And they're, oh, okay. And their brand just like, I don't know, that just, I just love that whole phase of their brand where they're using all the rainbow colors. And there's other stuff. There's like a basketball team where they use rainbow, and I just like when they do that. But I don't know. I feel like there's something in the middle here where they switch to. They didn't stick with it for that long.
No,
the rainbow.
and then
It was just a
they moved to
temporary thing.
black. No, they did a chrome blue, they did black, and then back to the chrome, another black, something
Yeah.
like that. They've been back and forth to that, but I don't know if you guys know, but I also saw somewhere that supposedly, like a lot of people like to say that the byte, it's for either like megabytes or terabytes.
I've
or
heard that before. Yeah,
Oh,
I got to
yeah.
say that.
byte.
Yeah.
But also they took a bite of a product, so like they have a bite of
Oh.
of the apple. Get it? It's kind of cute. I'm not sure if that's true, but I've read that somewhere. But I thought that was kind of clever. Either of those things, I think it's kind of clever. But it's kind of cool that
Definitely.
we're actually even talking about it. Anyways, I'm glad that they went back. You know, they moved from the chrome. I don't know if the chrome really works.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I think it was cool at the time, not necessarily moving on with the times. And I am also glad that they stick with like one color. Not that I didn't like all the colors, but you know, their brand is more for like, you know, sophisticated tech and you know, very expensive, good quality products. So
Yeah.
I think the black, white, gray,
Kind
it's
of like
definitely
representing
yeah.
like a
Like
rookery.
refined.
Yeah.
Of what? Say it. My bad.
No, like the color was gonna like represent like a more like rookery.
Yeah. Got you. Okay, let's go one more. And that's McDonald's, which is another one that did have some other ones in between, but you can kind of see they start with, and they had another early logo too, where it had the hamburger guy, if you remember, I don't know, he's been on signs before. Anyways, I put the first logo on here because I thought it was, I
Yeah.
did not even know before I looked up McDonald's logos that their first restaurant was barbecue until they switched to burgers. So,
Right.
anyways, the more notable thing for this though is that they took out the McDonald's. It's very simple. M now, no, not even a McDonald's. But I mean, the arches are iconic, obviously, so that's also worth talking about. But what are your guys' thoughts on the changes here?
Probably the first one. It looks like, oh, you know, you had an idea, you open up a
That's literally just
you
like,
know,
get the
a restaurant
words on
and
the
then
page.
just get a guy, hey, you know, local signage guy, get me my name up on. That's what I feel like when I see it. But, you know, that's the second one, you know, and third that we see here are obviously more refined. And definitely, like you said, the arches are just known globally. Like,
Yeah.
it's a staple now.
It looks like, I wonder if the colors here are like accurate, because it does look like they changed a decent amount, but I don't know if it's because of the images we took, but I think that they might have slightly changed there.
It could be, yeah.
think
From,
so.
I don't know. From here, I can see like the 26 to now, it looks a little bit darker.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
yellow also too.
But I like the meaning that they made behind the arches, like the golden arch and all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things. It just, it's great, and messaging and all that stuff. So they did a great job with that, and how simplistic they've gone. I think it's, you know, that's McDonald's.
And
so
even now,
it's-
like, I see them put, I'm loving it under the logo
Yeah.
more than I see them put McDonald's under the
Yeah,
logo, because everyone
yeah.
just knows the
Yeah.
arches mean McDonald's,
right,
so.
right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll stick with that one. We had one more, but we'll save it for another time or something like that. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and I hope you subscribe, hit the like button if you're watching elsewhere, hit the like button on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.